Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. To this holy light circle, a circle of infinite light, and how beautifully Jesus is supporting us on this journey, the light within us. We're calling ourselves out of the world. In a new covenant, Jesus says, you're calling yourself out of the world, I'm calling you out of the world, and God's calling you out of the world. Until we see they're all the same. We can play only so long before the play and consciousness gets old and we see the repeating patterns. This is so fabulous. We're supporting each other and seeing the patterns in each other and learning from each other to unwind, how to unwind, using the full power of consciousness rather than these partial view of the seemingly one who's by themselves, and looking with infinite light so quickly at the power we have to look directly at the denial within the light of divine being and see that it can't exist there, even if we want it as badly as we want it. Sometimes it's like I ask Jesus, and it's so helpful to ask him every single time the twig comes up. Oh, it's a twig. All right, Jesus, what do I do now? And just to be so open to listen to what he says, because he knows the fast way. That's the part of us that remembers who we are and knows it won't let us go sideways, which is our habit. So he's breaking that habit by having us go straight up to divine being, the super consciousness, the part of consciousness that remembers that we can never be apart, to see all things in totality rather than the fragmented idea, the desire to experience limitation. So he's just going directly, do not pass go, go directly desire. And we were just talking about this movie we watched, Into Darkness. Jesus calls this, be the light and see that darkness does not exist. There's a way you can say into darkness so that you don't fear it, to see that Jesus walks with you regardless of what seems to arise in consciousness. Yet with this direct seeing, the power of seeing that we're light first, the light together, the joining together, the willingness to see what's true, then we're not subject to our own delusion anymore. Any two or more gathered in his name. So we just get a bunch of mighties and stack us all together and see is the symbol of God with us, Jesus sitting here, constantly reminding each other and being symbols for each other. All we can truly be is divine infinite expression of God. But seemingly the way Jesus has so beautifully provided, how we've called for the Course in Miracles, and then he's provided a means. See that you desire this and turn that desire, instead of the desire going out this way to feel less than, more than God, this way to see what's truly here. That thoughts leave not their source. So in the play of consciousness, we're looking at with Jesus, and that desire to fight for authorship. And what's so helpful watching these movies, we can see in the movie how we're constantly fighting ourselves for authorship. The authorship ourselves is a little tiny thing, a little tiny body, and the heat-seeking missile looking for the argument, looking for the less than. It's the hunt for less than, more than, and then going, okay, I can prove I'm more than. I can prove that I'm less than. Specialness. Let me show you how I'm special. Let me show you. Who are we showing that to? We start looking. In the light of divine being, is there anyone to show that we're special to even? The jig is up when we see that there's only light here and that it's just the play. And then for a while, the play will play, but we see where the divine power lies, that we're the ones who are giving the energy to the argument against ourselves. No, Jesus, I remember that from the beginning. Of course, no, what are you talking about? You can't possibly be right. I'm not doing this to myself. And then the divine light. Let's ask the divine. In the divine light, in the light, the honesty of God, it's hard to end run honesty of God. In the light of divine being, are we doing this to ourselves? Hear the response. In the light of, yes. Is it all made up? In the light of divine being, hear it. Yes. Is it real in the light of divine being? No. So we were talking about, you believe you can usurp the power of God. This is chapter 20, continuing. We're on page 5, about 20 pages of belief. Jesus isn't going to leave very much left by the time we go through these beliefs together and really see where we're trying to usurp the power of God, our own divine power. To pretend we're like a matchstick, you know. And then there's the universe. We create all these images in our own mind. This is the hilariousness of it. Okay, infinite being. Is the light limited? No. Is the light more expansive than all of space? In the honesty of God, are we more expansive than the universe? Listen to that answer. But with the power that we have to take in as consciousness, to take one image and staple it together to another, to staple all the images that we've been shown. So we generate a picture of the cosmos and go, holy, well, there's proof I'm a little bitty thing. And then this picture, notice that when you think of the universe, what you think of, expansive, and notice how you're relative to that. Expanding. And you know how they do all those views, like they pull out from Earth and you're a little speck, you go back out into the universe. The whole thing's a play in consciousness, in the hologram. And then consciousness with its infinite power makes these different images and then staples them all together so that to feel small. They're all stapled in there. Glue and tape. It's smoke and mirrors. Let's ask the divine beings. Infinite God, infinite glory, honesty of God. Is it smoke and mirrors? And here are the divine beings. His consciousness, smoke and mirrors. Yes, may not use exactly those words. Is it a play in consciousness? It's all play. And then you have all these brilliant movies that come out showing that. Matrix. We know this. 13th floor, you drive to the end, you see the end of the matrix. So we're looking past the matrix. We're seeing what sees the matrix. What is it that knows that there's a matrix out there? Is that a matrix? Does the infinite light know what a matrix is? So these are helpful terms within consciousness. It's the wake-up call. Things may not be as they seem. You know how you get that little sign on your rear, remember, things are closer than they appear. God may be closer than he appears. How far away is infinite being from us? In the light of divine being, honesty of God. We start with what we are, infinite being. And we're looking at these beliefs. There's a favorite one, page 7. You believe that your creation was anonymous. What does that mean? Let's ask the infinite being to tell us that you are without source, unsourced. In the light of infinite being, can we be without a source? And hear the answer. But it's not the source we think. Meaning you believe, oh, that's the answer actually, meaning you believe your creation is without source. That's right. You start knowing these answers. Thus you desire and experience creating and experiencing the possible. Impossible. It's a desire to experience ourselves without source, which the ego has no source. Thus the experience of an ego. So let's just ask, Jesus, is there any desire to experience myself as being without source remaining? Any slightest twitch? When Jesus fills in, when infinite love fills in that blank, when it's naked to hear, that is infinite happiness, that answer. You desire an experience of creating and experiencing the impossible. Is it possible, in honesty of God, to be without source? Is the divine light of being without source? Can't even relate to not being. It doesn't even know with and without source. These are terms used within consciousness, superconsciousness. They're helpful. It doesn't know what it is to be sourceless. It just is itself. The ego is without source as it is unreal. This is the desire to experience the unreal. Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness to experience what is unreal? Okay, he says yes. Okay, show it to me. And we just asked, does that lift exist in the light of divine being? That picture, it's an out picturing. He'll show you what you're out picturing. Not you as a person, what consciousness is playing as. Is this true in the light of divine being, whatever he's showing you? Here's a favorite. That's how he is, just move it through. Okay, you believe you can author yourself. Oh, let me just ask him, Jesus, is there anything else I need to see? Any other play as desire for the unreal? And sometimes that's complete for now. There may be more, but that you let the one who knows guide the whole thing. Then you can just relax. You believe you can author yourself. Okay, is there any, you desire an experience of authoring yourself. Jesus, is there any desire to author myself? Will you reveal that to me? Is this true in the light of divine being? Whatever is being shown, infinite nature, know that? You desire an experience of authoring yourself, an authorship apart from your creator. In the light of divine being, the light of truth, can authorship apart from our creator ever be true? Can we find authorship? Pain is authorship apart from creator. That's all pain is. Self-authorship. The signal that we're trying to escape ourselves. The signal of dreaming. Dreaming for an experience of pain. You believe in time. You desire an experience of time through denying you are one with your creator. Denying you are one with your creator is the desire for death. Thus, time and death are the same. Is there any desire to deny oneness with the creator? And this is good when he brings up your brother. It's powerful. Any figures on the screen lately that I've wanted to toss out? Anyone I don't want to ask salvation of? That's a good way to watch a movie, asking every character, practice asking every character for salvation. So much love in that. Anything? You desire an experience in which you deny you are timeless. Does a divine being know what time is? Infinite light that's here. Does infinite light know an authorship apart from itself? Put that thought of authorship. Put the thought, I want an experience, because that's honesty of God. It's to say, I want an experience of being separate. That's a good one to put in the light. That's subconscious mind, that play. You doubt you exist at all. It's an interesting, I never really thought about that. Is there any doubt that I exist? You desire an experience in which you doubt you exist at all. You doubt your existence. The desire to doubt divinity. Is there a desire to doubt that I'm divine being? I'm willing to look. This is a helpful doubt indeed if you use it to doubt the existence of the ego. Doubt the doubter. We never doubt the doubter. We want to explore the doubter. We want to find out what happened to the doubter. We never doubt doubting. Doubt the one who's doubting divinity. True use of denial. Doubt that there is sacrifice. I doubt it. We don't think about that, you know? Let me doubt whether there's truly sacrifice. I'll just doubt that for a while. See what happens if I doubt it. Doubt that there's. What if I doubt that I'm going to be punished? Let's just put a little doubt next to it. I'll sprinkle a doubt. The idea of punishment. You don't ever think about that. You know, it's like such an assumption that there's going to be punishment. God's going to get us. We don't ever doubt it. Maybe that's not true. That's what the whole course is. Maybe that's just not true. You believe that what you do or what you do not do has impact on you. Is there any desire for an experience of feeling what I do has or do not do have impact? Like, that's like the whole idea of doing something wrong. Is there any desire for an experience of doing something wrong? That's helpful to look at today, because that was coming up right around breaking societal rules or government rules or the Federation rules, like in Star Trek. You violated the Prime Directive. All we need to know is we've violated the fundamental rule that cause and effect are the same, and then we wanted to break it. All rules are made to have an experience of cause and effect go like this, rather than the source be the same as the effect. Married forever. Let no man separate that. It's even in the wedding vows. That is, doing is the desire for cause and effect. It's doing to get. Where is infinite being doing anything to get something? Is it doing anything, actually? Can we find infinite being and go in there, hunt around and see if it's actually the light of divine being is actually doing anything? Because we're so sure we have to do something. It feels really good to check it out in the infinite being and see, okay, is there something really doing there? Is it actually doing anything? Even if we wanted it to do something. This is where it gets hilarious. Wait, let's see. That'll collapse the door right there. Does anything that's done by, and we like that impact that somebody else does something and believe that has something impact on us. That's a big one. Or doesn't do. Like I told the story about my ex-boyfriend. I wouldn't do something, you get so mad. It's desire for an experience of that doing or not doing has some kind of impact. That's, you can't escape that. We can ask the light of divine being. You desire feeling that you do or do not, or what someone else does, or any kind of doing. Is a divine being sitting there waiting for somebody to do something to be what it is? Let's ask. Is divine light waiting for someone to do something to be the divine light? That's right. You believe that what others do has an impact on you. Thus, you desire an experience that what others do, I need to add an S there, do or do not do. The chapter, it's messed up, has an impact on you. Or what I do, does that have an impact on me? That there's no S in that sentence. See, before I'd be all upset or, oh, it's not perfect. That is part of the play. It's something done. If I didn't do something, I will be punished. That is part of the play. Is the infinite light waiting for you not to do something so I can punish you? This is no. No, it's not involved. This is the means by which you deny yourself love, which is being. For the desire for do or do not. You can just think of Yoda on that one, do or do not. There is no try. The door and the one being done to are the doer and the one being done to are the same. In the light of divine being, is the doer and the one being done to the same? Because there's only one. It's always, that's why what's it for is so helpful when we hear the doer jobs, the doer body jobs that come in that are delivered to ourselves, from ourselves, denying that we sent the message to deny divinity to ourselves. So it comes up, something that we have to do. Got to be done now. You notice the urgency? Some problem in farm alert, ding, ding, ding. It goes like this, right? And it comes up, and I've got to do something about that, right? To try to fix it. And a lot of times that's only, we were talking about that today so beautifully. It was only to hide from the guilt. If I can just do something in form, then I won't have, it won't be a problem anymore. Without drilling down and going, the problem is not the form or the challenge. The problem is the investment in guilt to create a problem. The problem's up here, guilt's down there, desired experience. So it's a desire to create a problem to try to have one who's going to come in and try to solve it. And then have that experience of solving the problem, because that's what consciousness does. It creates a big problem one after the other, and then creates a doer who's going to fix it, to reinforce itself that there's someone who needs to fix the problem. This is a means by which you deny yourself love, which is being. Infinite being. Is the infinite being trying to fix anything? The light of divine nature. Is it fixing? Is it looking around to try to find all the spots in the wall? That's why it's so helpful, particularly for a place like this that has all these things happening. I could see, like in the old days, you know, it'd be, I have to paint that and do this and put that screw in, and finding all the things are wrong, rather than going, okay, what is the expression of divine being? Oh, because it was pride. It was like pride about how the house would look, or to preserve specialness. Now it's only question, is this in purpose to serve infinite love? Is this an expression of divinity? Whatever's happening, what is the most greatest service to the expression of divinity? The doer and the one being done to are the same, being what you are. The doer is the denial of what is. It's an idea that it can be denied. It's an investment in the experience of not being what we are, which is nothing, doing anything. Expressing, other than expressing divinity. Expressing love, being the expression of God's love in fullness right here. Marching to the tune of Without Authorship, playing the puppeteer of the ego and avoiding. David used to say that, get on the strings of the spirit. It's like, what are you talking about? Get on the strings of the Holy Spirit. Have no strings whatsoever. Moved by God in the celebration of all that is. To cut the strings of the ego puppeting that we've given ourselves. We've hung ourselves like this, little strings. And then this thought arises and the little puppet's hand moves. And then that little thing and the little puppet hands move. Follow the Holy Spirit. That just breaks that habit really quickly. It's amazing how many things you think you need to do actually fall away when you follow the Holy Spirit. You think, oh, I'm going to get all these assignments. I'm going to hate all these assignments. You know, sacrifice, that whole thing of sacrifice. And you see how many things that is taken care of for you. by love, by yourself, by the totality. You believe that what you say has impact on you. Does divine light know anything about saying something and having it have impact? Divine light doesn't care about saying anything that have impact. It just expresses what is. But if there's an idea that the words go out ding, 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 this way to an other, to impact the other, to influence the other, then there's a you and a me. It's just expressing. It's just divinity in its glory, whatever's arising in the celebration of what is. The ego's plan is to, this is going to come out here, ding, 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 and it's going to change that over there. In the divine light, is that even possible? It's an idea in the dreamer. Wanting to impact something, wanting to get an outcome. When the mouth opens, my outcome is to, whatever it is, to influence. That's the favorite thing. I'm going to influence everybody. There's nobody to influence. In the divine light of being, is there anyone who can be influenced? It's just celebrating what is. Just a celebration of what is, and that comes out, and that's divine expression. Then there's in service. The only service is full divinity, expression of divinity right here, right now, in the celebration of all that is. Thus you desire an experience of what you say having an impact on you, and acting as though what you say, and then you'll get the reflections. This is fascinating how powerful the mind is. This is a good watcher, because it's just, it's a specialist hangout zone, because then you'll get a reflection of someone. That was the best talk I ever heard. That is the best, the worst talk I ever heard. So you're hearing your own thoughts about things and going, oh, I made a difference. No, you made it up. for somebody to come up. So then you just start to see, you know, it's a beautiful reflection. It can be helpful. It's a supportive reflection, and we need those reflections to come over. One, to see where we're still investing in personal identity. Where we want that character to meander over and tell us how good we are. But it's a helpful reflection, but you see, it doesn't impact you, divinity. You see the play in consciousness. You see it as an expression of divine being, as it is the totality expressing. So it's not used anymore for, it's just like, you're grateful. It's just gratitude. You see the expression of gratitude. You're grateful for the reflection. And you're grateful if they come up and tell you, God, that was shitty. And then and say, okay, is there a twig? And ask that brother for salvation. I ask you for salvation. These are all the play in consciousness. The play to be better than somebody else. The play to be right and make them wrong. The he, thee, it, they did it to a me. A me, they. Does what is know what a they is? Does it know what a you is? It doesn't even know what a you is. Does it even know what an I is? Does it, divine being, infinite light, know what an I is? Does it identify itself as the I? It doesn't. Those terms are used It doesn't know what a he or a she or a they or a mother. Does it know what a mother or a daughter is? Is it looking around for a title? Let's see, is divine light looking for a title? It doesn't look for those things. We can see this because we're divine beings. Divinity is here. It just is. It's not looking to be something. It's not looking to be a monk in a monastery. That may be helpful. It may be given for that focus because it's helpful to focus on this. We can see it together. It takes focus. It takes that commitment to look consistently. And when we're in the play in the world, oh, I can go out and I can live out there and I can still do it. Maybe it's best to ask Jesus in that regard. Otherwise, it's toe dipping. And that's what most of the world wants to do, is toe dip divinity and then wonder why happiness is not consistent experience. It is a commitment to divine being. That's what Jesus is saying. I trust him implicitly. It's a commitment to divinity, to the self, the one. It's a commitment. It's marrying ourselves. It's being wedded to the truth of divine being without exception. Because any exception is the play within consciousness to deny ourselves perfect happiness and joy, and to value ourselves more than the idea we have. That's why Jesus keeps pointing to faith and trust. That is to value yourself more than the current idea that you have about yourself. To value the self, the big S, to value ourselves, infinite being, the light. That's why nothing stands before this light circle, at least for here. If it's given by Jesus, it's like, even if the lights go out, which they could here, still be sitting in there going, all right, give it to me, Jesus. Because if that's the assignment, that's just, because you see that assignment is given by love, for the celebration of infinite being, perfect happiness, infinite happiness. Amen.